crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Hello and welcome to Discover Crypto. It's a beautiful day. Hopefully you're staying warm out there as the cold snap is taking over the South in the United States. But we got some news in terms of our bags we got to go over today as the Treasury, the IRS are giving the green light for some massive upgrades to what we know as crypto here in the United States. But this is going to have ramifications across the world. Make no mistake. Welcome one and all to the show. And we're also going to be diving into a few different altcoins that are actually set to outpace the entire rest of the market as we get ready to close out this year. People will be asleep at the wheel. Holidays are coming right up, and they're going to be focused on Thanksgiving. They're going to be focused on, taking care of the family, and there ain't nothing wrong with that, but it's going to happen. Now, make sure you are following me on X at Druth Crypto, but also we got a link in our description. My wife is making a set amount of these Bitcoin stockings. We got a link in the description. If you want to buy a Arculus cold storage device, one of these bad boys, and put it inside the stocking of your favorite loved ones, or even maybe your least favorite loved ones, and demand that they take control of their future with Bitcoin on a cold custody device, I implore you to do so. Now, without further ado, let's get into, we got Kelly joining us on the show, but I'm going to have quite a bit of chaos going on today. Kelly, oh my God, how are you doing? And first of all, happy Veterans Day, Kelly. Huge shout out to you. Everyone give a win in the chat for Kelly, one of the great veterans of this country. But how are you feeling today, my man?
You know what? I got to say, I've never wanted your wife's stockings so bad. And at least in
Dude.
this regard, I can help support the fam, but also I actually had to reshare that because there's some awesome Bitcoin stockings, but I'm feeling good, man. I feel like we're starting to see some things brew in the charts. I feel like we're starting to see some setups going on out there that are really suggesting that as scary as it might have felt recently, much like my video I broke down on Sunday, I think we're about to see some ultimate brewage that's going to turn the bears into some ultimate sewage.
Well, we need to brew something up because people's emotions are taking the wheel right now. Bitcoin has fallen just a bit. It's at 103.1, right? We did close the CME gap earlier this morning. And this is on the daily with the 300 SMA right there on the line. People are wondering if it's over. People are scared to buy right now. And it's almost the perfect setup for the government institutional level to take the wheel and leave all of retail in the dust as they're trying to outtrade the largest economy on the planet with a simple 4-year cycle outlook, which is something insane when you say it outright like that people are trying to do that. But Kelly, what are you seeing in terms of fear and greed? What are you seeing in terms of your on-chain data that's kind of driving your steering wheel right now? Because I'm heavily overexposed. I bought more on Sunday. I am heavily overinvested. Kelly, what am I looking at here?
Well, first off, back to the Veterans Day, I got to give my grandfather a shout. He joined the Army. He was a pilot. He retired in the Air Force. He joined the military before the Air Force existed. He was in the Army, then it turned into the Army Air Corps, then, obviously on to the Air Force. He's 102. And here's something I'm going to challenge everybody out there. If you don't have crypto yet and you're watching this content, I mean, you're already a step ahead because you're watching it. If you have friends and family out there that are still on the fence, my 102-year-old grandfather has quite a bit of crypto. He's got Bitcoin, he's got Ethereum, he's got a number of other things. So going from being the first person with a light bulb in his house in a 25-mile radius back in the early 1915, 1920, sort of whatever that, I can't do the math right now, long time ago, all the way now to calling people on iPads and holding crypto, phenomenal. But what I'm also seeing is incredible bullishness in terms of this. You guys don't realize how bullish this story is because they covered it on this morning show. This is being telegraphed to, when you think about JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, any major bank out there, this is going to be the narrative of the next 2 or 3 years of how fast and how much and how many different ways banks can integrate into the crypto ecosystem. I will say, from the mission standpoint that you and I got in on, Drew, this is contentious with that. But from the demand that this is going to bring into the market, for those of us that are positioned, it is phenomenal. Now, next thing I want to share really quick is we did clear that CME gap, guys. We cleared it, and it broke down a little further. But I want you to notice on this chart, we do have a bit of a falling wedge here. We have quite a bit. This is a 7-minute chart we're looking at. And what we can see is we have quite a bit of bullish divergence that has formed through here. Money flows flip back positive. So I got my eyes kind of like a hawk in this region if we may dip a little bit lower. And that is because on-chain data, we're seeing a tiny little bit of a blip, meaning people are going short. But there's a couple other things consideration. I do want to just reemphasize, this might feel boring to all of you, but realize if you lose faith because the market's not moving fast enough, you know what's moving faster than you can comprehend? The fact that we've gone from 12 trillion to over 23 trillion for the people that are wealthy.
Yeah.
This is in the time where we're seeing a larger wage gap, larger wealth gap occur, but we also have this other opportunity out here with Bitcoin. And so do not miss this opportunity to leave the economic strata that you're in behind. That's what you can do with this. You can take that next level step up. And we do have some on-chain data. We got whales buying $269 million worth of ETH today. We've got this story right here, which should shock everybody. See that line? That was at the peak of gold. Right. Do not be this person in Bitcoin. Don't get only excited because there's a massive run up. Because on days where you get a dip before the run up, nobody's there in line. And then furthermore, this is what data is. This is what data is when you have the right tools. You can look into the room and know who's doing what, when, where, and how. And that's why when you're looking at stuff, you want to find that reverse card in the market. You want to know when the market's setting up with a fundamental and data-driven approach so you have an edge. You use that on-chain data and also realize that we're seeing huge amounts of apparent demand hitting a 4-month high. This is also using technical trading data as well as looking at all the on-chain data as well as looking at funding rates. We have the setup right now where most people are super frustrated. And I mean, guys, I think I think these God candles are right around. So you got to hodl.
Well, if you're a long-term holder, you get less enamored with short-term price. But I think the guest we want to bring up here, Piano Matty B, he brings some great calm to the market, some great calm to the Bitcoin outlook. First of all, Piano Matty B, thanks for joining us on the show. How the hell have you been, my good sir?
Unbelievable. You just, treading water up here in this Kanadistan tax farm, doing my best here, amongst the chaos.
Before we even look at crypto, we got to look at something here. Matty, what in the hell is going on here? Okay. We got Orwell Watch talking about the Great Canadian Ostrich Cull. And I've seen a lot of pretty dark posts about what's going on. This is from Brian Rommel, and he usually stays out of politics very heavily. This is a definitive journalistic insight to what Canada has done to itself and how the world now sees Canada, or Kanadistan, as you eloquently put it. Not just a blip in the bureaucratic mindset. It ignores science and empiricism. It is how humanity will view individuals who made orders and who followed orders. Can you please inform me on what is happening to the ostriches out there? Because it does look pretty grim. I'm not going to lie. My timeline has had some pretty gross imagery coming out. Can you just give me a TLDR on what the hell is going on in Canada with these ostriches, please?
Well, the rent-seeking reptilian parasitic class that kind of govern over all the tax farms, they love to mine dark frequencies from the slaves, right? So when you see something like this, when you're watching it start up, we all knew what was going to happen, right? It was like, we know how this movie ends, and then they stretch it out, and then you create amongst the slaves this thing called planned helplessness, where everyone starts like, what the hell's going on here? Why, this has to stop. Them knowing there's no way the slaves will stop this, and they mine this dark frequency from us. They love it. That's what makes them so powerful. And inevitably, at the heat of the there was a bunch of 11th hours. I don't know how close you kept up with it, but there was a bunch of like stalls where they weren't going to do it, then they couldn't do it, and the indigenous came in, and instead of blocking the
I did
birds, they
see
stole
that.
all the houses.
Right. And I saw that there was a lot of attempts to stop what's going on to the ostriches right now. Very dark, right? Very dark.
It is
This
very
is
dark.
kind of crazy. I mean, it's you're bringing up some pretty heavy stuff here. And obviously the chat is very split on their bags. Some people feel like the Bitcoin price is going to go to hell in a handbasket. They see things like this going on in Canadistan. They feel like there's no hope. Matty B, shoot straight with me here. What kind of warning signals or hope signals are you seeing on Bitcoin right now? You always give me some great insight on the long term.
Well, earlier on my live stream today, I said we would probably see continued downward action to 103.2. We just seem to duck under it. We have a couple of lines of support here. This is an old channel of descension, and this little channel of ascension looks positive, but these always break bearish, and it's also, the flag of this bear flag. We've just kind of lost our concept of where time is. So I would expect if we don't tuck ourselves back in and up into this bear flag channel of ascension, we will probably retest these old lows, because if there's one thing I say on my channel, it's that which once wicked will get candlesticked. And we see all these handsome little dangling wicks here, these big swinging wicks underneath the support, and it would make sense to go close it out. That would be at that magical 98, which is also at the support of this channel of descension. So there's a lot of confluent aspect. Plus 8 is that Asian number where all Asia loves to come in on 8s, right? So you have Tri Delta Gamma, even a Quadzilla.
A Quadzilla.
98K. Yeah, 90 Quadzilla of confluence.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what I like to hear. You're seeing that there's some strength in the staircase steps just below us. Kelly Kellum bringing up, this is so
I'm just trying
insane.
to, gotta hang tight with the emus, with the little ostriches.
Oh man. And it's a real interesting time, Maddie. It's like I see Bitcoin wobbling, but like I'm having a lot of fun with my altcoins right now. I gotta say, I'm having a lot of fun. Aerodrome has been treating me real nice this week. Constellation I am very aggravated with, but it is trying to come back right now. But I did add to Solana mechanisms, Solana staking mechanisms, added Marinade, added some Linnea, added some Camino, and then I added Jito, just a small bag of this Jito thing. I mean, I'm working on basically adding these Solana staking mechanisms in before we get actual true market clarity go ahead. And some of the bigger parts of the news today are in regards to the US giving that clarity. So I am, taking a risk. I understand that, but we are knocking on the door of something that I never really thought we'd see in our lifetime, but it's happening right in front of our eyes. We got David Sachs, the crypto czar, talking about we're a major step closer to becoming a crypto capital of the world. And it's all after these messages. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Today, the U.S. Treasury and the IRS issued new guidance giving crypto exchange traded products, ETPs, a clear path to stake digital assets and share staking rewards with their retail investors. This is what goes into my adding to those staking mechanism bags within Solana. But I've always loved Aerodrome and Morpho. I was looking at Solana and these very, very important parts of their staking realm just beat down on price. Retail's left. Kelly basically covered our business cycle that we've had so far. Looks horrible, right? It doesn't even feel like we've had a bull market yet. So
I gotta interject here because there's our man Hosky actually dropped some thoughts on this because there's a lot of speculation about what's going on. Is alt season going to happen or not? This is a real clip from about 2 hours ago. And thank you. I think Big Wick is the one that put it on my radar, but this is what he said in regards to what's going on, whether or not let me know if you can hear it.
Okay.
Ben Cohen still feels December will be the end of this bull run, hence no alt season. Well, he's fucking stupid. I mean,
Whoa.
We haven't even passed the Clarity Act yet. Once that passes, it's going to bring a lot of money into the industry. And also, typically, you have a big buildup of Bitcoin, and then when Bitcoin reaches a ceiling, then the value starts leaking into the altcoins. So,
So from the question here is going to be, and I think Benjamin Cowan's a brilliant guy. One of the things I think everybody needs to contend with, even some of the people in the audience that get mad at a title on a video that gets people to get in here, or people that just are so locked into it must be bull market over because there's a bearish divergence. And then you see the other aspect of this on the fundamental shifts that have happened. And I guess the question we all got to ask, and everybody in the comments, I want you to drop a 1 if you agree, or a 2 if you disagree with what Charles Hoskinson said. In that, well, first off, I guess the only question is he biased because he also wants the alt season to come? Or is he also looking at this more objectively? There are a lot of fundamental changes that are kind of shifting what we can project or expect into 2026.
Yeah, let me know in the chat. I mean, from what I've seen, Hoskinson calls a spade when their chips are down, even within Cardano. He calls it out. I've seen him call himself and his own community out in Cardano. There is probably a degree of bias there. And we are knocking on the door of some pretty interesting times. Also seeing this come out. Kobayashi letter highlighted the Fed balance sheet may soon expand. Once again, the Treasury General Account, the TGA, I believe you were talking about this a little bit earlier than even the Kobayashi brought it up, Kelly, surpassed $900 billion for the first time since 2021. And this is the government's main checking account at the Federal Reserve, used to hold and spend federal funds. It's now risen by, that's a terrible number, $666 billion since June. As the TGA rises, it makes short-term borrowing in the repo market more expensive. So, I mean, like, I feel like we're knocking on the door of some pretty good stuff. I really do. Maddie, you highlighted some floor level support that it looks like we have in the shorter term. Do you have any upside targets still, or is it basically just a survival mode on the Bitcoin charts, do you think?
Well, the interesting thing about like the Clarity Act coming out is that it didn't get as much bullish fervor as it should, because essentially what's happening in this bull run is that we're taking on institutional water, right? Imagine it like Donkey Kong going up the ladders and everything and getting to that top. And as he gets to the top, he gets fatter and fatter and fatter, filled with his institutional capital. He needs to move on to the next level, but he just can't do the same level being as big as he is. So what we're seeing here are these institutional rails being built. Now they're being built out. You have to have a longer time horizon, right? You need to look out 4 years. These are the rails that it needs to grow. Otherwise, the little Donkey Kong thing will collapse underneath him, underneath his weight. So once the fact that this is being built out, that opens this asset class to the rest of the 96% people in this world to get on with ease, not the way we got on, just throwing darts and like meeting people in parking lots and exchanging pieces of paper and hoping that it's true. Like this is how the average normie gets in and feels comfortable, because that's the biggest thing. Because these massive institutions, these banks everywhere around the world, these nation states, they're not going to get on unless they know that there's an institutional rail of safety for them, right? And that's what's happening.
Absolutely. And it's bigger money. And by the way, what's this guy's name? Joshua.
You are banned!
Oh, buddy, whatever the hell it is you're talking about, you're never going to say again. I wish I had the deport button imported here. I don't. We're almost out of YouTube jail, and then I'll be able to use the deport button. It's looking at me right here. And oh my God, DCA and Prey, I got something for you. So currently, DCA and Prey is winning my contest in my mind for the Player Hater of the Week. So you know what? You got to try harder. If you're out there hating on me, you're going to have to try harder to get my attention, because DCA and Prey, not only do I like him, but I am top of mind runnings for the Player Hater of the Week. I am going to don him in the pimp jacket, so famously shown on Dave Chappelle. And we're going to, God, I love this too. The Negan, you got to love the Negan. Shout out to you, DCA and Prey. Now, Maddie, in terms of fibs, do they really matter to you at this point? Or are you looking for basically, if the continuation does happen and these rails do make a monetary movement to the Bitcoin price action, basically just revisiting all-time highs? Like, what do you think in the positive side Bitcoin's capable of?
Well, there's a number here that I think everyone should be aware of, and this is I do this every week with you, but I put in a new low, and this is the 38.2% fib at 109. Like last week, we were I think 111 or 113 because we hit this lower low, closed the weekly candle. It's now 38.2, and why this is a significant number is that this is where the bull run recovers and gets denied and enters the bear market. So I don't care what's going on here. We're going to probably approach it like, you might argue that today or yesterday we got up to 107.5. It's 1.69% away from this magic number of 109. So really all I'm looking at is I don't care how far it goes down because it'll take this 38.2% target down. But as it stands now for the rest of the week, if we get a pump, we got to blow through 109. That's really where I get ultimately bullish and reset the charts.
Gotcha. Okay. I like it, man. Well, I mean, we're knocking on the door of some pretty bullish news. It looks like we're getting close to the U.S. Senate. They moved forward with the bill to end the government shutdown. There's a lot of capital that's been locked away from the general markets. There's a lot of uncertainty that'd be wiped away from this government shutdown ending. So
right.
we
They
they
moved to the House tomorrow for vote, and it's different than the Senate in that they have a majority already in the House, which they do in the Senate as well, but it's different with the way the voting works. You needed a couple of the Democratic senators to sort of get over that gap that they needed up to 60. With the House, they've already got a majority. The only thing the House that they don't want, the House of Representatives, is for dissent in any of the Republicans. And, bring us up 3 screens right here, dude, because it's interesting when you look at, there's a lot of different reasons, not my screen. I mean, all our 3 faces.
Oh, okay.
When we're looking at what's going on, some people wondering why, I think it's Rand Paul, is it Rand Paul? What's his name? Whatever. Dissented from Republicans and was voting with the Democrats because these different players have different funding sources that are driving their campaigns, and also constituents that have different areas of interest in farming. And surprisingly, even for the Republican candidates, the Republican representatives, the cannabis farming has become very big. So some of the things that are cooked into this extension bill limit some of the ability for cannabis farming and THC products like weed gummies and different things like that are some of the reasons why these Republican congressmen and senators may dissent to vote with the Democrats, because it limits the farming aspect that they have in that specific regard.
Well,
what's your over under on the 2K that the stimmy checks?
Oh, they're coming. I think they are coming. Yeah, I'm hard sided. Even if Trump knows he's making a mistake and they'll have to roll it back next year, his ego on following through with this is too large, right? So he'll absolutely willingly go make the mistake, even if he knows the Supreme Court's going to vote against him, to do this, get cash in people's hands. So you see, I gave you some money, get the votes that he can out of that. And with all of this happening, man, there's just so much to cover. We got to bring this up too. We have the Senate talking about AG committee releasing the crypto market structure draft bill. Basically, it gives definition to digital commodities. Developers get protection. And this will mean that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and major altcoins will finally have true, full-on regulatory clarity. Not the SEC lost their court case, so we have regulatory clarity. Not that. Talking actual verification that these products can exist in the United States. Retail advocacy, yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lot of lip service in here, but basically it makes it so that these assets are indeed here to stay. And that's why, like, what I've added to my bags recently, the staking mechanism plays that I had, there are smaller plays, much smaller than my Bitcoin buy. I am more interested in Bitcoin over everything else in the long term. And it's just a long-term build out like this, the bill that they're going to pass. Yes, for long-term longevity, it's going to be bullish for crypto, but it's not, I don't think this is going to create any God candle for us just in and of itself. I think it's really the opening of liquidity and adding, securities to the balance sheet from the Fed, and then kickstarting the economy and restarting that business cycle. Going to be the most important thing. But Matty B, where can people keep up with you? And I know we're going live on your channel on Friday to we always talk about some pretty insane shit. So please give the word out and let these people know where to find me and you this Friday morning, because we're going to go in.
8 a.m. Central Mountain Time on Piano Matty B. That's the YouTube is right here, up here. Yeah, every day, Monday to Friday, and plus I do a couple of live piano streams on the weekend, just so we can all kind of lick our wounds and listen to some good tunes. I got one more question for you guys before I head out of here. Well, you were talking about God candles. Now, 6 months ago, you could almost say anything and people would go, and that would be a God candle. Now that seems to have gone away. Is there anything in the immediate future for either of you that you could say blank equals God candle?
I could, and so, I don't think it's going to happen. Amazon deploying, Apple deploying, Google deploying, meaning it's like massive news that they're stacking, or something beyond just offering facilitating payments. Actual like Amazon announces that they actually own $15 billion or buying $15 billion in Bitcoin. That would do it. We've kind of, I think, eclipsed the big strategic Bitcoin reserve hype in the US. People are realizing that they're only going to get it through confiscation. And
Huge.
we see how slow they are with the process. I don't think anything there is going to happen. But yeah,
I got an idea.
The only other one would be if we get a confluence of the events going in to, a few weeks from now, the government shutdown ends, and they actually at the same time here very quickly we start getting all the support that we need from a financial standpoint. Reduce rates again, 50 basis points. We have the government shutdown ended, and we they actually not only end QT, but they start rolling a huge amount of money into the markets. Actually, come to my chart real quick. There we go. There we go. Okay. Just remember, because look at this. You can see on the bottom down here with Bitcoin's price, you can see where it is in terms of the balance sheet up here. Bull market showed expansion on the balance sheet. With this going up, that's expansion. You see this over here where my mouse is? Same thing. This was kind of downtrodden just a little bit. But this was just essentially flat throughout here. Flat. And this had a little bit of a move. But then what really gets interesting is right in here, 2019 into 2020. We had a reduction here in terms of the balance sheet, quantitative tightening, and the market, had an interesting sort of pre-pump sell-off and then crash. And then this massive jolt front ran this major move here. And this entire bull market, this is what that Sunday video is about. This entire bull market has been in the face of a massive quantitative tightening, shrinking balance sheet, meaning the Fed is actually selling their holdings, which is signaling some sort of risk-off behavior. So if we get all these things combined and we get some money printing because of these stimulus checks and the bills, I think I don't think we'll see God candles, but I think we're going to see a lot of 7 or 8 or 12 disciple candles coming in.
Yeah, we have Swift going live with Chainlink on November 22nd as well. Like
11 days, magic number.
People don't really keep in mind, and I've said this a long time ago. I actually found some clips that went viral of me saying this a long time ago. Swift and Chainlink, the partnership is real, and they are in a test run environment right now. They plan to go live with transfers with Swift using CCIP, the cross-chain interoperability protocol of Chainlink, right? So if we see a 1% involvement of all the money that moves to and from within Swift done on this cross-chain interoperability protocol, 1%, that brings the price up to $380. If they do 5%, $1,800, right? So you have a lot of upside potential when we actually see the utility of these tokens turned on, but we're seeing the jockeying and positioning to make this happen. And Matthew, shout out to you, man. He's also bringing up some good highlights here. Government reopens, Russian war could get finished, quantitative tightening announced to be fully done, potentially no taxes on tips, and crypto might actually be up Trump's sleeve as well, on top of the steamy check. So we got a lot of things that can go well. It's just people are baked in the fear mindset right now. And I will say this, the worst decisions you can make are based off fear. Absolutely. If you live and make your decisions off of fear, you will lose. So Matty B, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and I'm looking forward to being on with you this Friday, everyone.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely,
have a great afternoon.
Brother. Absolutely, brother. All right, well, let's get into it. We got a lot to cover here. Sorry about that, Kelly. You know what? Just let me take the wheel and I won't mess you up here. I got you. I can see what you're doing in the
Oh, no,
background.
Jesus, take the wheel.
This is kind of crazy, Kelly. So we have a problem in Florida. And it is this. Look at this. Falling iguanas. Floridians, watch out for falling iguanas today. 48 degrees in Miami this morning. And
Wait, you got to go back. You didn't read the whole thing. That is phenomenal. Could be a reptilian bloodbath out there. That's the line of the day.
I mean, it's a real thing, you know? And, you know, I will say this, you know, my daily crash outs here. So I had to get winter coats for my children because they've grown. I moved from Colorado to Georgia. It's been a few years since they actually needed a winter coat. And I went to 5 different stores here in Georgia, and not a single one of them had options for winter coats for children, nor gloves. It took me a long time to even find just one pair of gloves here in Georgia. So we got to kind of up our game.
Hold on a second. Is this what you're going with?
Well, let me see this. What do you got going on here? Oh, yeah, that's the move. That's the move right there. They got to be bundled up, man. I love kids. I love babies. I love making sure that they're warm. I'm from Colorado. Nickelback slaps. That is all. Shout out to you, Wispy. I actually had a guy unfollow me. He followed me for years. Deep Alpha Picks, portfolios up. He unfollowed me over Nickelback. Imagine that. So we got the ultimate signal, though. McRib, right? We talk about charts and money flow and all this stuff, but no one takes into account the power of the McRib, released right before the mega bull market of 2021 took off, released right after the bank collapse. Everything was going to hell, and influencers across the land were looking for $10,000 Bitcoin. Wrong. It went up to $75,000. Then right after the end carry trade, again, the weak hands, they sold, they got rid of their bags. Boom, we pump up.
This kind of looks like, just peeking at it and looking, kind of dragging my eyes down to the bottom.
Yeah,
kind of looks like it's somewhat linked, not entirely linked seasonally, where it's going into the very end of the year.
Potentially. Yeah, I mean, it looks like this is the end of 2020 right here, end of 2023 right here, end of 2024. Lord love a duck. End of the year moves. And, you know, this is from Jakey. Shout out to you, Jakey. I know he's a degenerate, but me and him follow each other. This is my quant. You know, I'm always trolling him. Good job out there, buddy. Now, this is scaring people as well. The strategy chart. I am almost enticed by this chart, Kelly, but the hillbilly TA in me, the shoot from the hip TA in me, tells me to wait for $150. Can we actually pull up the micro strategy or the strategy chart on TradingView? Yeah, because seeing this pullback, like, I don't think strategy's done. He holds a disgustingly large amount of Bitcoin. People are betting against Bitcoin right now. And it's just kind of insane to me to see the pullback happening while Bitcoin is still sitting above $100,000. I want to check out what you got on this. Let's check it out.
Well, I mean, looking at this is a 1 month chart. We do have a double top, super bearish. It's over for MicroStrategy. Sell it all, because I don't agree with that. I think MicroStrategy, it's a one of a kind. We have all these other treasury companies that are out there, Metaplanet, similar size. I mean, there's a bunch of them, and I don't want to hate on any of those other players, but MicroStrategy, literally, Michael Saylor, literally changed the game in terms of deploying this Bitcoin strategy model. So I do think it's a cut above. I do think it stands apart from the pack. Now, furthermore, are we going to see a bit more downside? Yeah, we saw pretty wild downside. Look at this, way more than we saw in Bitcoin. But this is also going to be a little bit more volatile because it's an asset that's sitting tangentially to Bitcoin. So it has Bitcoin exposure, but there's a lot more, almost like an altcoin speculative play in terms of the heightened volatility. But if this could drop a little bit more, 194 down to 170, somewhere in there, I think that'd be an incredible buy. However, even as it stands right now, if we start to see the reversal of the market, it doesn't mean this target has to get hit. This very well could also, it may even lead the way, because we've seen that with mining stocks, and we've seen it with these Bitcoin treasury companies leading the way a little bit to the downside and then leading the way a little bit to the upside at a little bit more heightened volatility. And he's only stacking I mean, every week he's stacking more and more and more. So
Mhm.
I think this is coming into a good option territory to
Okay.
to
Okay.
take a shot.
I mean, I've been watching the strategy chart go absolutely ballistic for a long time. And I'm like, God, I should have just bought some of that too. Shout out Matthew King. Gifted the membership here. It looks like Nick Dunn. Oh, Nick Dunn picked it up. That's my man. It's right there. And also to whoever that was, I was shilling that horrible.
You are banned!
One's gonna last. Okay, you are not just in timeout, you are done. So now I have to cover this story because here's the chaos that can happen to crypto. I saw this come across my feed. We have Propunk biopharmaceutical company Propunk Biopharma secures up to $100 million to launch its crypto treasury strategy and accelerate the development of its lead cancer therapy. Well, the danger here is, well, what if this cancer company, what if this cancer curing company, this company that wants to cure cancer, ends up doing something like what happened to Safety Shot and builds their treasury in Bonk? Look what happened to Safety Shot after they built a treasury of Bonk. Things went very, very poorly. And I don't want this cancer saving, or, you know, this company that's trying to stop people from, you know, dying from cancer to end up investing in the wrong projects and basically going out of nil. Yeah, I see Matthew King is asking for the deported button. The deported button for this channel, the one that I got on, is very proprietary. It was a special request from Hannah. So got to be careful about that. I'll make you a custom one though. For sure. Now, the quant behind alt season has arrived. Alex Becker. It is confirmed. I shaved my mustache yesterday, and now look at the pump. Less body hair, higher number. Okay. It's an easy equation. I will now be shaving everything and bringing us into the hairless baby oil mole rat Becker meta. I can't. When you're rich AF bragging to your fam at Thanksgiving, remember who you owe. He looks like, who's that guy on is it Mario? Is this like, oh no, Sonic? Who is the guy from Sonic? Who's the bad guy from Sonic? Chat, you know this. Who's the bad guy from Sonic? What's that?
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey played him. Jim Carrey played him in the movie, but I want to know his name if you guys actually know. Absolutely there. It has been an interesting time for my altcoin portfolio. Like, there's a lot of pain, a lot of red. I have a video coming out tomorrow on this channel explaining exactly what the heck is going on with Aerodrome and a lot of these DeFi plays. Aerodrome is pumping up. It's up above $1 at $1.15 right now. Morpho, like a rock.
Dr. Robotnik.
Dr. Robotnik. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, so Morpho has been rock solid for me. I added to Marinade. It's been going great. Linnea, this is kind of adjacent to Chainlink as well. I had to build this bag of Linnea before November 22nd actually occurs. Because you have to remember.
I added some to my Linnea.
You did?
This morning.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, I think, look, in my mindset, I was adding to Linnea ahead of November 22nd because there's only 2 blockchain firms that are allowed to work with Swift. Full stop. So, you know, Linnea is a deep pick on that, but the alt bag, not really looking too bad. I did add Jito as well. But there's a lot of pain, right? There's a lot of pain on the market. I'm going to acknowledge it. There's some projects that are losing here. Let's see what's oh yeah, Zcash. You know what? That video of the founder of Zcash makes me never want to own any. The price though makes me want to own some. I'm not buying Zcash in the thought that it's actually anonymous. Like, they're like 5 minutes from the CIA, you know? So I kind of doubt that here's the deal. If you are a crypto company with a person leading the firm with access to the network within the United States, especially if you're within arm's reach of the CIA, you are absolutely backbaggable. And there is all kinds of things that the government can do to stop your protocol from operating or dig in, find out where funds have been going to and from. So when we talk about this, oh, it's decentralized, it's private, this is where I can launder a bunch of money, it's wrong. Okay, just be reasonable. Okay, don't be ridiculous when you're looking at these things. And you know, there are reasons why The DeFi sector is heating up. I'm going to be covering in the video coming up tonight. But there's also good debates over Aave versus Morpho Labs and the protocol design within each one of these. That's been going on. This is from DeFi Dad. I'm going to give him a follow because I've been liking these conversations. Morpho is the chosen golden child of Coinbase's intention, right? But it's also integrated amongst a lot of other different wallets and staking availability. Let's see here. Zach, Dev, not bald. Oh my God. Oh, there's not the founder. Matt, you need to send me the actual founder. And is that person connected at a high level? That's what I really want to know.
He's very tied in with dev stuff, and the person is brilliant. They might be a little bit different lifestyle that you'd be okay with, but it doesn't knock their ability to. I'd be more worried about the CIA link.
Yeah, I mean the adjacency to the CIA thing and what it's intended to do made me kind of question it. But you know, when we're looking at crypto projects with the best upside, I've always stuck true to this, where I'm really only interested in things that have lots of total value locked, have outlook of actual revenue, and are plugged into some of the main winners that are already existing in crypto, be it Binance, be it Coinbase, to find that upside, right? Yeah, CIA link is
well, you know, I wanted to highlight that because, you know, we're talking about these different aspects that are out there, different opportunities. And you brought up Canton Network, that's rolling out, you know.
Yeah.
For me, it's a little bit high of a market cap on the rollout. I want to see it gain some legs a little bit first. And then I think, I mean, the amount of RWA that they have already locked in, I mean, for over $400 billion, insane. But then we also got things like this, where you've got the Aave Horizon. I mean, look at this growth. I mean, from August to where we're at here in November, that's a pretty darn big growth. It's going parabolic here. And so it's one of these things, you know, within the Aave ecosystem that's on my horizon as well.
Okay. And, you know, there's been some movements from some pretty experienced crypto investors here. We had Arthur Hayes adding with size. After 3 years, Hayes bought back into Uniswap. He bought 28,670 uni tokens worth about $250,000. There's some reasons for this going on. The CEO, Hayden Adams, announced the first governance proposal to turn on protocol fees and align incentives across the Uniswap ecosystem. Uni pumped by 38% following this proposal introduction, but there's a whole hell of a lot more going on with this proposal, the Uniswap, that in my opinion is actually going to more directly impact Aerodrome, right? And so that's what the video is that's coming out tomorrow is going to be really focused on. Coinbase is shaking and jiving out there. They're also moving into the ICO outlook. Monad looks like it might be up first within this ICO setup from Coinbase, but also the base token in and of itself. Now, I've covered this on a video in the past, but JP Morgan is already valuing the base ecosystem at $34 billion. Okay. Aerodrome, a very centric piece of this entire ecosystem. It's sitting under $1 billion in market cap right now. It's kind of an easy gimme for me, but I'm going to explain in more concise details on the video coming out. But I am out here bull posting Aerodrome. I feel like this decimal point's going to be moving over one to the right. I think that the Aerodrome price absolutely has the ability to hit double digits. And in this coming bull move, I am still bullish. If anyone's trying to get things, don't get my words mixed up. I am still bullish. I added to my position. I have not given up any of my positions, and I take profits. So I'm not in a situation where I'm underwater on these projects by any sort of means. Taking profits when you get in early, say at 18 cents like we did, and everyone that followed me into it on the basement, taking my profits above $2 multiple times has created quite a bit of bandwidth and wiggle room here for me in my investing abilities. And really how much downside I'm able to absorb with these projects is much, much greater because I do not top blast charts, okay? Do not top blast charts. That is my goal. That is my focus. And so I don't go on Twitter writhing and crying and complaining that the bull market's been terrible. We've had multiple tiny little waves so far. taking the profits, making sure that there's money in my hands that I can experience and change my life IRL, and then have the moon bags, add to the moon bags on things that I continue to believe in, follow the metrics very concisely, and then I'm not so overexposed there. We have XRP ETFs coming. Oh, you got the real top blasters here. Look at this. This is the video of top blasters.
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, this is it, because you can see it in real life. People lining up outside a gold distributor to buy gold, and then again, look at that. Look at the date on this chart. This is right here, right here. This is when everybody's lined up, and this is what people see. They don't see online. They don't see buying digital assets because they just are so worried they're going to miss the gains, and then it drops. They sell, and then the market. Then after everybody's checking off, then it starts to resolve back to the upside. So do not be this top buyer unless you're willing to hold.
Yeah, and if you are, then acknowledge that you top blasted, right? Don't take to Twitter trying to convince everyone that the world's ending because you bought at the wrong time. Now, also this for Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look now that we're getting into the weeds on altcoins. This is actually looking pretty darn good, Kelly. Look at, I've built this little expectation channel for Bitcoin dominance, and I've left this here for weeks. It's actually looking pretty weak to me. This looks very.
I have no notes on that because it's perfectly exhibited and what I align with as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and it's very counter to what Ben Cowan has been saying. So Hoskinson saying that, I definitely agreed with what his words are. I mean, let me know and Kelly know. Is there going to be an alt season? Is the Bitcoin dominance graph going to fall down and go below this 57% mark? Flat out. Just let me know where your mindsets are. If you have any hope in alt season, or if you've basically given up on that. And it's fine if you have. I completely understand. We have things like this going on. XRP ETF products now are appearing on DTCC website. Analysts talking about the end of the shutdown on the U.S. government could open the ETF floodgates for XRP. $5 is not that crazy of a moon math on XRP. It would have to hit about $350 billion market cap. It would have to essentially, I think, more than double where it's at right now. Let's actually look. So XRP is at 145 bill right now. So it'd have to a little bit more than double. We get an alt season when crypto Twitter gives up. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really the saltiest ones on crypto Twitter, on X. They're these guys. And I said this as I was picking up pizza last night. Shout out to my pops, Kelly Kellum and Veteran for Crypto, for the sacrifice, the time that you've given to our country as veterans of this country. Thank you very much for that. My dad's a very based individual. So, oh yeah. And I caught a spider for my daughter, a little guy. This is a Joro spider, Kelly. Have you gotten real close to these? These are all over the place where you live. Did you know that?
I'm a man, but I was laying in bed the other day. I've got a pretty clean place. I live in a nice spot. So this caught me off guard. I'm laying in bed and I just kind of see something in the corner of my eye, and a freaking spider that was like, I mean, it was a big old spider, was Spider-Manning from the ceiling, descending literally 2 feet from my face, just coming down, going, "Are you really a man, sir?" And I said, "Ah!" And, no, I took care of it, but it made everything inside of me turn inside out. I was like, "Why am I so scared of this?" I don't know if it's from watching Arachnophobia, that movie when I was a kid.
That was a good movie. And we need to talk about this real quick. I mean, these are the guys that are calling for the end of the cycle, in my opinion. 4-year cycle maximalists, meme coin degens, and people that were overexposed to microcaps that have fallen to extreme lows are the saltiest ones on crypto Twitter right now, calling for a bear market, and it shows. We got to ask, though, okay, you brought up a cult classic. Arachnophobia was incredible. Napoleon Dynamite in the chat, incredible. What is the best movie out there? Okay, I have a feeling, for me,
you mean around spiders or just in general?
Just in general, the best movie, right? Because I am having a hard time finding good movies right now. My absolute all-time favorite movie, I would probably have to say Demolition Man is up there. I think Demolition Man is a timeless classic that predicted the future. We're going to be using seashells to wipe up our stuff. I'm going to be getting fined for every time I curse, every time I say the word tiny hat. It's going to be great. Ooh, Fifth Element. That's a good one. That's when Heat. Heat was incredible.
City of God.
Okay.
Top Gun, the original was,
Yeah.
I mean, the second one was awesome as well, but the first one, that's why I joined the Air Force, was obviously he's a Navy aviator, but yeah, I just love planes. That's why I joined the Air Force.
And like
Forrest
Top Gun,
Gump was
the OG.
great.
What's that?
City of God, that was a good one.
Yeah. When
what
Top
was the
Gun
one with
came out,
Denzel Washington? Man on Fire. Oh, man.
yeah, Top Gun, though, the original, that was when the mainstream media and movie production felt good about pushing patriotism, right? And it really got the rah going for Americans.
Team
Man, we're gonna
America.
bring that-
America.
Trey Parker really messed things up. But let's go back to crypto here. So we got XRP ETFs coming.
But hold on. I think we need to pause there for a second.
Okay.
We're getting people coming in and out. We have to remind people of, is there going to be an alt run? Let's just check back again. What did Mr. Hoskinson say?
Ben Cohen still feels December will be the end of this bull run, hence no alt season. Well, he's fucking stupid. I mean, we haven't even passed the Clarity Act yet.
So, guys, again, I love Charles Hoskinson. I love Benjamin Cowan. There's going to be differences of opinion here. And I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing the churn in the charts at the same time with the government shutdown, at the same time with quantitative tightening. And all these things are coming to an end. QT is ending December 1st. Government shutdown right now. They're voting on it tomorrow to end it, at least till January. We got quantitative easing come in. We got $1 trillion in the Treasury General account. They're going to be pumping back into the markets. We've got the expansion of the balance sheet that's on the horizon in the near future. $2,000 stimulus checks. You think this market's over? What are you staring at, a wall?
It's pretty insane, man. And we also have like the ETFs, these index ETFs, where it's a basket of different cryptos, I think are going to actually be pretty good performers. And I do think that these are going to affect crypto prices. And in this, we have Link token officially listed in 2 of the top 10 crypto index ETFs, launched by 21 Shares. This is going to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange with 21 Shares, FTSE. And this is excluding Bitcoin. It includes Ethereum, Binance, XRP, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano, Hyperliquid, Chainlink, SWI, and Avalanche. Oh my God, look at the nugget there. She's getting good. She's learning how to behave, and she's a good girl. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Back to this though. So out of these, we have AVAX, SWI, Chainlink, Hyperliquid, Cardano, Dogecoin, Solana, XRP, Binance, and Ethereum. Which of these projects is going to, perform the best over the next 6 months, right? That is my question. Like, I obviously have a long-term vision and a long-term outlook for Chainlink. The one that might outpace the rest, though, dude, it's so hard. Like, Solana has been sleepy, and it's got a 10% weight as of October 31st in this crypto index. We also look here. Now, this is a 21 Shares T-top index. It's more heavily weighted with Bitcoin. It includes Bitcoin, but I mean, Solana is up in my mind for this. The cult of XRP might be able to move the buck big time. And the chat is they're bringing up some really, really good movie picks here. Saving Private, Ryan Privates. That's a huge one. Flesh Gordon. Kryptoni is thinking proof of work. I want proof of work to absolutely take over. Litecoin showing some signs of life. Litecoin showing some signs of life has made me happy. Caspa, you know what, Kryptoni, since I've seen your comment, I'm going to go look at Caspa right now. I'm going to go look at Caspa. Okay?
It's the next Bitcoin, man. Nothing
Well,
is the next Bitcoin. I don't care how much you like any altcoin out there. Bitcoin is going to be Bitcoin. Everything else can, take over a decent market share of a certain niche, but nothing's going to outpace Bitcoin in terms of into the long term.
Looking at this, I see now we were mining this project all the way back here. Like 2023, early 23, we were mining it, right? And then watching the price go up to the levels that it had recently, I didn't really feel like buying any. Now my hillbilly TA is going off and it's actually bumping its head on these original pump 2 moments. I don't hate this. For a small portion of, maybe I'm going to get some of this now. Just in my personal bag. As a company, we're mining it back here. I kind of feel like maybe just taking a little bit of a swing on this thing on my personal bag. A lot of people say it's dead. I mean, it's a proof of work project that's over time going to lose mind share as everything just consolidated into Bitcoin. But looking at the Bitcoin dominance graph, this is why I feel a little bit frisky on these altcoins, is because I feel like dominance is actually losing its footing. And I feel like we're getting ready for that move down. That is how I feel. Thus,
Well, there's an important question that's here in the charts. And so I just, somebody asked me this, are we still buying Chill Guy? And I'll just say, I'm not going to say anything, but were we ever buying Chill Guy?
I never bought Chill Guy. I never bought Chill Guy. I am still wondering if the meme coin super cycle is in the room with us, honestly. I've been asking that this whole time. Murad has been talking about this meme coin super cycle. Like, yes, there was a season where a bunch of meme coins went to 200 billion, $300 billion. I looked at that as a bunch of money laundering. Okay, I did. I don't look at, the cult classic of Chill Guy being worth nearly whatever the hell it ran to, like nearly $1 billion. I thought that was lunacy. I thought it was money laundering. It looked like crime on a chart to me. That is what it looked like to me. So, yeah, you can make money if you get in and out, but oftentimes you'll get caught with your hand in the cookie jar trying to handle that investment thesis. If you have a long-term vision on Chill Guy, there is nothing I can do to help you. Now, okay, hold on.
You are banned!
Jesus. This chat is just ridiculous. Yeah, and like looking for long-term alts, it's hard. I've spent about 8 or 9 years researching relentlessly crypto to find altcoins that I can have a long-term vision on. It goes in this order. My conviction goes in this order. It is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. Clear as day, right? Chris Barrett talking about it. The future of banking is Chainlink-powered automation. The balance sheets, transfers, settlements of tomorrow will execute through smart contracts. And I am seeing something kind of exciting. All right, this was crazy too. These guys took a clip from me talking when I had my insane meta glasses on. They shared the link. It got like 700 likes, 73 bookmarks, 91 reposts, 70,000 views. And then there was other ones. Like they printed views off of something that I said a long time ago, but I am going to be leaning more into the Chainlink content because it is one of the projects that I feel the most comfortable with. And there's a litany of different reasons why. And this was kind of cool to see as well. Trueflation now being featured on Bloomberg Terminal. So it makes me excited. It makes me excited in the idea that crypto, Chainlink, data feeds can actually bring some truth to this insane psyop of a life in a world that we live in right now. Gives me hope. It makes me a cautious optimist, right? Because I understand that there's only been psyops that I've grown up under, 9/11, blah, blah, blah. But crypto gives me hope. It gives me something to focus on that can actually benefit the world. And this is an interesting concept from Phil Kwok. Financial Times, the trick to being a multi-billionaire is having zero liquidity. This is so bullish for crypto. The tokenization of every asset will give every billionaire access to instant liquidity. This will bring trillions into crypto. This is a great, great framework to put your head around and understand why crypto, why RWAs, why are they doing this? It makes perfect sense. And it's not just for the ultra-rich.
It's beyond what most people even imagine because it makes everything 24/7, 365.
Right.
And it also creates depth of order book and depth of liquidity in markets, which means there's likely going to be a little bit more volatility as things transition into that. But I think the net positive over the net, I think the net valuation over the next 15 years is going to be an overwhelming flood. And it's going to benefit some of these top L1 chains, Ethereum being the number one benefactor, Solana being a major benefactor, Avalanche, Chainlink, integrating all these, making sure all the data is processed and cross-chain interoperability. Linnea, also, which, by the way, Linnea, I'm not going to sell it to you. I will not ever tell you to buy a single thing. But when I see something with the type of integrations and it's sitting under a $200 million market cap, and it's got multi-billion-dollar integrations that they're already working with, and the founder is part of the co-founding team of Ethereum also, they got the right people behind it. So I know I put my chips in those sorts of camps.
Absolutely. It's a time frame where the people that are giving up on the idea of crypto because regulatory clarity is here, I understand it's aggravating. I was aggravated when I saw BlackRock coming in. But you know what? This is proving that crypto is here to stay. It's going to make it a safer asset for massive bags to move into. And with that, are we still buying? I swear to God, I have to ban this whole chat. I do want to highlight this as well. So Trump is talking about prohibiting certain high-calorie humans from obtaining visas to the United States. So we're going to see not only if Trump can pump our bags with regulatory clarity, but if he can deflate some of the folks that are coming in to the United States. And a friend of the channel, Whiskey Throttle Customs, I'll check out this nano AI agent after the show and into the night here, just to make sure I'm not showing off any chaos. I've never seen the chart, but I care about you, Whiskey. So I'll take a look at that for you and give you my thoughts later on this week. But it's a time frame where people without conviction are going to end up crying, because the long-term outlook of crypto has never been more sure. But it's about not top blasting charts, not FOMOing in, using discipline, and following your own thesis. Do your own research. And on top of it, sure, you have crypto, but can you keep it? This is why it is so important to support Arculus, our channel partner. Pick up an Arculus, use code DC20 in the link in our description. And also, you know what? Take it a step further and support a local business right here. Kelly's mug, ready for it. My wife is making these by hand. Bitcoin embroidered stockings. Absolutely incredible. You guys can go click the link in our description.
You know what we should do? Hold on. You know what we should do?
What's that?
If you're open to it, let's have everybody go and retweet that and pick one winner that gets a pair of stockings.
Oh, okay. I mean, that might be fun here. So we got 4 retweets out. We got to write this down here. I'm going to write it down in the Discord.
And we could pick it. We could pick it on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. So we got to go here. You got to go to at Miss Tia Marie. Okay. And you can retweet. You got to retweet her direct post. Okay. She's got 4 reposts so far. I got to write this down as well in the Discord here. So just as a timestamp of where we're at, 4 reposts so far on the stockings. All right, go repost this.
I'll share the link. I'll just share the link in there.
Perfect.
There's the link. It's in the chat. Go and retweet that. Leave it up. We could pick a winner on Friday.
Yes, great idea. Absolutely love the idea. It's just a time frame where you lock in, right? The brave will be rewarded. The people that are not willing to hold on and fight through, they're going to be left behind. And that is a unfortunate thing, but it's the reality of the situation. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there.
I got
Please
one
stay
thing to close
based.
us with, everybody.
What's that?
One thing to close us with, and that's this right now. Again, just a reminder, as we're wrapping up this stream, which one of these do you think we're going to go to? Remember, this is what the market cycle for altcoins looked like back in 2019. Run up, sell off, launch. Run up, sell off. Same. So are we going to get the green? Are we going to get the yellow? Are we going to get the orange, the red, or the purple, and it's all over? I'm curious to hear. You could just put 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Comment down below if you're watching this later. But I think there's a lot more in store. I do not think purple's coming in. I do not think red's coming in. I think it's going to be somewhere between this orange and this yellow, somewhere in this range here. But let's see what you guys have to say. But I think there's a lot more in store. There's a lot of things. Make sure you're doing what you need to for the portfolio. But Drew, take us away.
Well, it's something where I've learned this over time. You can try to time the market and out trade BlackRock and the US government by the 4-year cycle, or you can take a look at the larger liquidity in business cycle. You can take a look at the larger mechanics and the integrations that we've all wanted to happen for nearly a decade now in crypto. They're all knocking on the door. And yet I'm surrounded by people that are selling their bags, giving up. It's okay. Hold on. Just what? 6, 7.
You are banned!
If you're giving up right now, as we are knocking on the door of everything that crypto has tried to accomplish and being taken seriously, threatening the outlook of banks, I'm trying to help you right now, and I can't give direct financial advice, but no one will remember your name, right? This is why we're in crypto. We are trendsetters, we are risk takers, and we are changing the world with our conviction. I love every single one of you, and I will see you on the next episode.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.